This is an art situation that is, again, about an alleged art scam. So this is posted on Twitter by Twitter user Lobotomized Arts, who goes by the name of Frabcare. Hopefully I'm reading that right. And they write, I'm getting incredibly tired with being disrespected by the people I have purchased art from. I can empathize with going through things in your personal life, but at the end of the day, I am your clients. I have paid you and I expect to get something in return. It is frankly ridiculous that I have been waiting for art from two artists for almost 2 years now with very little communication or updates, especially considering these artists post near daily, yet do not respond to my DMs. I am exhausted. I am frustrated. I am losing trust. If you cannot keep in contact with your clients, you should not be taking commissions. Just because you are not intentionally scamming people does not mean you aren't scamming them, period. You have made me wait past the time that I would be able to force a chargeback and my bank can no longer help. I am at the mercy of people who do not respond. And for some more context as well, this is because PayPal has a 6-month chargeback window or 180 days. So if you don't charge back within that time window, you cannot charge back again using PayPal most of the time. There is an exception where sometimes you can file a dispute and it may win on your side, like an appeal basically to overturn that 180 days. Rare to see that work out. The other option is to dispute with your bank or your credit card provider as well. And in Frabcare's case, unfortunately, they stated that's not available. So Frabcure continues, at Razor Knives, which is one of the artists in question, I would really appreciate a response. You said yesterday you were going to respond to everyone, and now you're saying you'll do it today. But after consistently breaking deadlines, I don't trust that anymore. And then Frabcure adds, this is gaining traction so high. If you have the time to share, donate or purchase art to help me fund top surgery, I really appreciate it. And they state that they're full-time students as well. I'll have this link down below. So here's what some commenters had to say. Mandoy adds, if this artist has done this to multiple people, you should probably make it public who. Artists like that shouldn't be getting business. And Frabcure adds, I have made it public. And then we see their name above as well. And then Dark Wolf 80 adds, read the thread. You only mentioned one artist being Razor Knives. Who is the second one? Also, before committing to any artist, you need to make it a habit to ask them what their ETA time to deliver the art for you. No ETA, don't bother. Frabcure adds, the second one is not on a furry Twitter and has since stopped taking comms. I got a refund from his partner, so at least that situation is mended. So thankfully, I'm glad they got a refund for one of the artists out of the two, so I'm glad that's sorted. Also, I will add, I don't really like the victim blaming thing. Like, I get it, maybe Dark Wolf is like, this commenter is being just concerned, right? You know, like, hey, here's some tips in the future, but a lot of times the people who fall victim to scams are the nice people, the very kind people who are like, yeah, take your time. Like, oh, you need like 6 months to do the artwork. Don't worry, I can wait. Like, oh, like something happened in your life or, you know, like IRL stuff's getting a little hard. Like, don't worry, I will be patient. It is those people that get scammed. The people who are very kind, patient, and understanding and very empathetic to the IRL situations that the other artists might potentially have going on, right? Typically people who are much more kind of assertive and stuff like that don't have that happen to them as frequently because they're more down to put their foot down, you know. Not saying one is better than the other, right? But I'm just saying that a lot of these times it's the very, very kind people that get scammed, which sucks, you know. A lot of them just don't want to be that person that's like, hey, I'm gonna charge you back now, da 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 da, you know. So they're like, oh yeah, I'll wait. Then Ashley adds 2 years. I barely want my clients waiting a month, let alone 2 years. I'm sorry you're dealing with that kind of situation. And Frabcure adds, not just me, well over 40 people with the same artist. Kua, it's easy to judge people when it's not you. I completely agree. Gani B adds, hate it when artists use their skill as a job and try to guilt trip you into buying. Quote, I can't pay my bills, end quote. Bullshit. If they actually got a job, art is a hobby, not a job, not a life choice, just a hobby. Which I think this one's an interesting take. And Frabcure adds, bro, I literally do art as one of my jobs. Get out of here. I would say this is a take that sometimes people have, right? Where they're like, art is not a job. Full-time content creating is not a job, da 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 da. Just because it's not a job for you doesn't mean it's not a job for other people. But it is a freelance job. And the thing is, when you do take on a freelance job, when you act as a freelancer, it is difficult because you don't have a manager or somebody else in your life managing your time, your schedule, and keeping you on track. You need to do all of that yourself. And if you're somebody who sucks at time management and is not good at staying on top of things, you're going to have to really exercise those skills as a freelancer. Otherwise, you kind of end up in this situation. Do I think like a lot of these scam quote unquote artists end up intentionally try to do this? I don't think so. I think a lot of times it's because they go into a freelance type work like art or something else, and then they take on commissions to pay the bills, and they're not good with managing their time or their money, and they end up in a slippery scenario where they've taken on way more than they can deliver, and they end up in trouble. I do completely agree that it's like personal stuff. But we have people siding with the artist as well. Toru Dragon adds, I have purchased adopts from Razer, but have never had this problem. I am so sorry you're going through this. You don't deserve this mess. Because again, in my personal opinion, do I think Razer necessarily like was like, yeah, I'm gonna go scam a bunch of people out of money? I don't think that was like the intention. It really just seems like, again, took on too many comms, didn't know how to manage their time, and it got really messy. By the way, I would highly advise you guys, please do not wait more than 6 months. Like, please, for the love of God, for a commission. Because if you pay with PayPal, you legally cannot charge back. You just can't. So then the artist Razor Knives had put out some explanations starting on February 17th. So they wrote, regarding everyone waiting for replies, I'll try to get to them all today. I'm struggling very hard. This is not an excuse for my lack of communication, but it's an explanation. My depression is getting worse and I don't have money for a therapist and I only got scheduled appointments with free healthcare and they're like once every 2 months. I'm gonna bust my ass and reply to everybody and update my to-do list and maybe a new schedule too. I'm sorry to everybody waiting. I really am. I'm trying very hard to keep afloat. And then K Wolf adds, you should stop commissions. I understand that you're struggling, but the fact that you keep taking commissions while also making adoptables and art on your free time really shows that you're not prioritizing your clients at all. That's not an okay thing to do, depression or not. Razor adds, yes, I know that. I'm no longer taking comms, but adopts are the way I can sustain myself and also provide refunds. So I need to make them. My question though is like, where did the money go in the first place? That is always kind of the question that I have when it comes to these scenarios. Again, I don't think Razer like necessarily went into taking commissions maliciously, being like, I'm gonna scam all these people. Allegedly, according to Frab, there's 40 plus people who are waiting for their artwork. That's 40 plus commissions of money. Where did the money go? Where is it exactly? You know what I mean? So I totally get that they need to sustain themselves, and as a result, they need to sell adopts for it and like to get the money to refund people. But my biggest question is, again, where did it go? That is always what I'm confused about. And then Tundra Saber adds, I'd really like to work with you more in the future, but the radio silence is discouraging at best. And Razor adds, yes, I understand that. I'll reply to DMs ASAP. I did some yesterday and will reply to more right now. Leah adds, return their hard-earned money. If you can't finish commissions, then you should have never opened them in the first place. When you realized that it was going to take you an egregious amount of time to finish them, you should have offered a refund. This is on you, nothing else. And Razor adds, never said this was on anything else. It was a mistake. I admitted it and I am fixing it. It is on me to do so, and I am. And then Biblically Accurate Furry adds, how is your mental health that bad? It prevents you from making the commissions that you owe people, but allows you to make constant adopts. The way you treat your clients like an ATM is disgusting, quite frankly. I do not support your work ethics at all. Shame on you. And Razor adds, I know, I fucked up and I'm trying to fix it. I never wanted to treat my clients like this. My work ethics are not supposed to be like this either. The constant adopts are so I can feed myself and also refund people. So they are needed. Rose adds, I've seen the size of your Trello queue and it's concerning. Your backlog since 2024 is long. And as somebody who also takes comms, I'd strongly advise you to close them before it gets worse. You need to start being honest about whether or not you can manage the workload. Monte adds, I've previously been a client 2 years ago, and it seems like these issues are still persisting. Please stop taking commissions before you unintentionally start crossing the line of scamming and get in trouble. Set a deadline for your clients. If you fail to meet it, refund them. Again, the thing is, depression is an absolute beast, okay? Like, when you're depressed, like, you can't even brush your own teeth, let alone make art for other people, you know? Like, I understand it, and I'm sure a lot of the clients are also very empathetic to that as well. Understanding, hey, depression is hard, mental health is difficult, sometimes it just knocks you out of the blue somewhere. 2 years is a lot. 2 years is a very long time. You had a very long time to slowly cook some art up, you know? And then Razor adds, 2 days later, before anybody freaks out over the next small adopts, I need the money for my psychiatrist appointment tomorrow to get a prescription for my meds so I can work better. My day was busy and I had to clean my house as well. I will reply to DMs now over dinner. Thank you for the patience. And then February 20th, they added, hi everyone, now that I'm home from my appointment with my new meds and got replies to the DMs I sent out yesterday, I will work on a schedule for all the comms I owe. I will make a public post when it's done, linking to my Trello as well. And then they updated 19 hours ago that they replied to most of their DMs. They have a few left to catch up to, and they'll post the commission schedule. And they also added that I might want to also make a longer post explaining my whole situation and how I'll be working to fix it, etc. I'm not angry at people who are upset with me, by the way. I totally understand them. I'd be too. But also thanks for anyone who still supports me. It means a lot to me. At the end of the day, right, I am so sorry to Frabcare for being kind of led on for 2 years about their artwork not receiving anything supposedly as of yet, right? At least they got one of the situations sorted with one of the artists, but with Razor, so far it looks like it has not happened yet. With Razor, I hope they're able to get the help they need. I hope with their new medication, it's able to make their life easier, get them back on track again, right? Because at the end of the day, mental health is really rough, and I want to like give grace to that, but it's also inexcusable that there have been people who are waiting 2 years for commissions, right? Again, if you've never gone through like mental health struggles, mental health issues, or depression, you may not understand how difficult it is to do things, right? Because to you, it's like, oh, just get off your butt and draw. But if you have depression, it's a lot more difficult than that. Like getting up and brushing your teeth is already like a near insurmountable task. So getting up to make some art for somebody else is impossible to tackle. But it's not an excuse, in my opinion, at the end of the day, if you have all these people you owe things to, owe money or art to, right? That I would hope that if you do recognize that, hey, your mental health has taken a turn for the worse, that you go seek the help that you need so that you are able to deliver for the people that you owe things to. That's my personal take at the end of the day. I don't think they came out trying to be a scammer. And it seems like they are very enthusiastic to try to correct the wrongs they've done. Hopefully they can just do that and show us, because at the end of the day, only time will tell and actions speak louder than words. But I really hope they can get the help they need and just kind of get on with the commissions that they owe people. Yeah, indeed, they need to get a retail job or something for fast cash to refund everybody waiting over 2 years. That artist doesn't have a sound plan. Pressure or not, they don't have a sound model. I do agree somewhat, Candy. I do. The thing is, like, it is always a slippery slope when artists owe people art or money and then they sell more art to try to make money, because the art is the thing that burns you out. The art is the thing that, due to your mental health, you couldn't do in the first place. So it's going to honestly kick your mental health down the hill even more to kind of do it like that. I do agree that if, barring life circumstance, like we don't know if they're disabled or something, if like, doing art is like the only job they can really have, right? There's other circumstances as well. But I do agree that if they can, getting a part-time job where you can get that fast cash, like retail, or even better yet, like a server, like working in a restaurant industry, they tip you out same day. At least like the restaurant I worked at, you get tipped out literally day one, right? You can get cash instantly in your hands to start paying people back. I do think that's like the better way, because you're not also doing the thing that you couldn't do, like because art was the thing they couldn't do, which is why for 2 years they owe that many people stuff, right? If you now do more art, like if you basically now have to do double the amount of art, the art you owe people, and more art to pay your bills currently, it can be a very, very messy and very tricky scenario.